Welcome back to another episode, Coffee and Cigar Talk, where we always keep it real, we keep it funky, we talk about real topics with real people. Welcome back, fellas. Feel like it's been a while since we done came together and talked that talk. So
Yes, sir.
I want to kind of dive right into it. Just some of the stuff that's kind of like that my mind's really playing. I think about a lot of stuff, so I try to put it all together for us this time. So, what are y'all opinions on? There's been a lot of talk about paying off student loans by the government. How do you feel about that?
Um, as far when you say as far as paying student loans, you talking about like as far as like I guess.
So, do you feel like the government should step in and
Oh, okay.
pay off
Um,
the student loan?
um, uh, yeah. I mean, of course, if it's not advantageous or beneficial uh to their bottom line, of course. I mean, technically they don't have to, but of course, I mean, it's always the helping of the student loans or the raising of student loans or the reducing of student loans is always a trending topic during the presidency. So, um, that really doesn't come up until, somebody about to be elected or, we'll take out 5,000, we'll take out 10,000 and it only applies to a select few. I mean, it's not going to apply to all of us anyway. So, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, one thing about it, I mean, we asked for that help, as far as like either FAFSA or either any other subsidiaries. I mean, we just got to bite that bullet because you know what I'm saying. Like we put our pen down, we put our Social Security down. So I mean, we love to get a grant rather than have to pay something back. But we put that salary May down. No, it's a binding contract. Technically, they don't have to help us. So
Do you just using you personally because I know you went to college and you used student loans. Do you think that would shift your life like significantly, like if your student loans was like paid off to zero?
oh yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. That's that would be all my debt I've accrued. Like everything else, I've chucked back to the government. But everything else I've chucked back to the government. But other than that, I mean, student loans was my biggest debt, like
Mhm.
by far. Like it's not even close. Like I haven't accrued nothing else outside of that. So
What
oh
if
yeah, that helped
now?
tremendously.
Now, what if in the fine print it's also said that to get rid of your student loans, 20 of your family members gonna pay for it in their taxes. You still okay with
I
it?
mean, in that case, you might as well just put it all on me. And
That's not what I
nah,
said.
you might as well put
That's
it.
not what I said. That's not what I said.
I mean, if it's already right, not designed. I
I'm
mean,
just it's just a
I mean,
yes or no. You can feel this is an opinion. Like it's a yes or no. Are you
uh,
okay with it?
I mean, look, if that's spread evenly between 20 people, I mean, shit, if it's not significant, I mean, hey, because I mean, shit, like I said, I mean, let's not pretend like we read every word and binding word and what's on the contract anyway. So I mean, shit, I'm sure some verbiage in there I didn't understand, and I signed it up anyway. So I mean, if that's the case, I mean, it's been done, it has been done, it will be done. So yeah, if that's the case, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like with student loans, it's kind of like it's tricky. Like it's the only loan or debt vehicle that, you know, they don't come take your house immediately. Like, if you don't pay a car loan, you feel the sense of fear like, oh man, they coming to get me. Versus like with the student loan, it's like, I'll pay it when I get ready. And then we receive a handout for from the government, and it's like, hooray. But you gotta like take in consideration, like, what about the people that actually paid their student loans off? And then what about the people versus the people that You know, like who we? I can't wait. My stuff probably gonna get paid off, and somebody else took care of it besides me. And then we got to look at ourselves in the mirror and just like, you know, take ownership of what's actually going on. And then like also, you know, kind of like what Chris said, read the fine print. Because, you know, unfortunately, if you don't pay for it, somebody's going to pay for it later. But, you know, student loans, I really don't view them the same because I feel like it's just, like I said, it's just debt. Um, my philosophy was always, I'll pay it when I get ready. I'm one of the few because I always try to take the entrepreneurial track, but you know, I feel like somebody will have to pay them, and you know, it's nice, it's nice to have, but there's always a caveat to say something's going to come up to where it'll cost us later. So I rather just continue to pay for it myself, or when that time comes, you know, just get it done.
Like that. I like that. Um, so for me, I don't think they should pay it off. I honestly don't think they should touch it at all. I just I view loans just like any loan, like payday loan, all that loans, like that's my responsibility. Like I decided to go and take this out. So, and the idea behind it, right? And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Like you're going to school so you can be a more productive citizen in the world. So the idea behind me pulling out this loan is equivalent to an entrepreneur pulling out a loan for a business or something like that, is to provide more value in the society. And I think the problem is the value side of it. Is like we're doing these things where we're pulling out this money and we're going to this college, but we're not getting the output to balance out this thing. Or maybe we are getting the output and our understanding of money is not telling us that, hey, the first thing I should do is pay back what I owe. Um, and that's a big issue. You know what I mean? Like I think, and I don't blame nobody, you know what I mean? But I do believe the government played a part in it because obviously it got out of hand, because if a person wasn't paying back 60 grand and you allow them an avenue where they can get another 60 grand out on top of it, like it's not necessarily setting up for success. And another thing that I realize they use against us is I think it's intentional to keep those interest rates very low on those loans, which is why this is the last loan that most people will pay back, because people will pay off 30-year mortgages before they'll pay off school education. But I think it's intentional because it's a business. You know what I mean? Like for us to stay, let's hold on to this loan. Like let's just pay the bare minimum and knock off the little interest right there. So I think it should remain the responsibility of the person that pulled the loan out. I always hear the horror stories of like the parents who sign off on loans for the kids. I wouldn't do that for my child, me personally. Which is why I'm doing the necessary things to ensure that I don't have to reach that point with my own child. Which he won't have to worry about paying for his education because he's gonna use my post 9/11. But I never want to be in a situation where me and my child gonna fall out behind some money that I decided to borrow. Because whoever signed on that line, that's who borrowed the money, regardless of what the money is used for and who it's given to. I kind of view it how I view handing out money now, to be honest with you. Like if I'm handing out money to someone close, loved one, friend, or whatever, like I hand it out now with the intention of I don't expect it back, because I don't want to develop this aura, the things that come in between us over money. So that's why I think it's just like it's your loan, your responsibility. You should hang on to it. I don't think the lesson that needs to be learned by most Americans won't be learned if it's just wiped away. I think we're just. I think like the excitement of if they did it tomorrow and wiped out 100% of student loans, I'd be willing to bet you credit card debt would jump 2 times just because of it. Like, I'm so serious. Like, people would just go out and buy designer and go on trips. Like, I guarantee you the money, the debt would just shift somewhere else. So that's why I'm not in agreement with it. So
Well, let my credit limit go up. Give me 50,000. I need about 100,000 each car.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I already, I can see it. Like, it just was shift. Like, man, Macy's credit card, $10,000 credit. Like, what? Like, people don't even go to
They
Macy's
can't
no
pass up
more.
on a deal like this.
Yes.
Mm, mm, mm.
Jonathan, you want to jump in there and add anything?
Uh, a hell of a stance on that, AB. I didn't think about it like that. When I say didn't think about it, as far as you said, a lot of several things that really made me shift. And you said they don't ever know the value of you going to school is to be productive.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where it burned me up. Like I got student loan. I wouldn't mind paying it back. But the part that pisses me off is that I did all that school, didn't graduate, but I didn't learn nothing.
Mhm.
Like if I would have sat in my room and bought $50,000, $40,000 worth of books or went to classes and seminars, like I would have beat what they taught me in school.
I'll do you
Like
one.
in that,
I'll do you one better, Jonathan. And whatever you wanted to go to school for, if they would have took you and did a internship where you didn't get paid and just dropped you in that field for a whole year, I guarantee you would gain the knowledge that you're looking for.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
And that's why, like, I agree with some of the methods that they use in the military, because they not very fond of spending so much time in programs behind the book. So they use fire hose methods. So programs on the outside that would take 3 years, they teaching it in a year or a year and a half, and you spend the rest of it actually in the field. They just drop you out there and you figure it out. You're surrounded by people who are considered expertise in the field or whatever, but that's where the real learning happens. And a large majority of people would gain everything they need from that method, compared to just like opening up a book here and saying, here, everything you need is here, and I'm going to test you on it next week on chapters 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
It's foolery. It's foolery. But as far as paying back the loan, they could do whatever they want to do. It's really neither here or there. They just trying to, the main objective is probably too high over our heads. They're just trying to pump some money back into the economy and see who they can get to pay for. If they was to wipe it away, just trying to get some more money and, I guess smuggle digital money into the economy.
Yeah, and
And
they're trying to get votes. So
yeah,
looks like
yeah,
the Democratic Party is pushing more on it than anybody. So that'll be a big vote mover. So for them, if they would do something like that. So because
yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it like you want to get the minority vote. Minorities are the ones that's getting hit the hardest with taking out these student loans, because we coming from these impoverished areas, so we can't afford to go to school to a certain extent. But
Mhm.
there is other methods. So one of the things that was kind of brought to me was like going to community college first and paying for your school. Because like you can transfer to the bigger university later on, because your degree ain't gonna say, hey, you did 2 years here and 2 years there. It's just gonna say college graduate of University of Houston, college graduate of Duke, or whatever that university you decide to go. So I think it's more than one way to kind of skin that cat to where we get more bang for our buck, to where we valuable. But as far as paying that student loan back or whatever, like I don't know. I just don't see, I don't think it's beneficial long term for us to take that responsibility, like, and just like put it off on somebody. Like, I'm heavy on people having life insurance policies. Like I talk to my friends about that all the time, and the reason is because that's the one thing that you can be lazy about and just like have that reoccurring payment, just take that out of your check or whatever, like, and just pay it. And if Lord forbid, if you go tomorrow, everything's taken care of, and you done lift your family something, like that's like the easiest thing you can do. Like, and I don't know. It's just like the idea behind it or whatever. It's just like it's just something being left for somebody else to take care of, and I just don't agree with it. Like you hear the talks of like Social Security is gonna be gone. Like that's not gonna even be a thing for us when we come of Social Security age, if they don't move it even further back into the 70s or whatever. Like those are the things that we're taking away from our grandparents because we don't want to take care of our responsibilities now. And so it's just my opinion.
What they say with life insurance, you bound to cash in on that. You can't miss that one.
You can't miss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's go hit. It's go hit.
Hey, Willie D said it a long time ago. Like it's just like
About to, and that's what I thought of. About to cash in on that one.
Yeah. But you also said to Chris another good question. You said, Chris, if you had everything wiped out, like if you had zero debt, college debt, what would you do with the money? And I was like, damn, like what would I have done if I had zero college debt or if it was wiped out? Like I wasn't even smart enough to even think like entrepreneur back then. I wasn't thinking about that stuff.
Oh, not at all.
I was they wasn't screaming, oh, everybody open your own business. They wasn't screaming that back in the day when we was in college or nothing like that.
Yeah, or like even
Social media.
and you're right, Jonathan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like the biggest thing or whatever is like it's so many things you can do with it, right? Like it can be a business, it can be an asset or whatever like that. But we wasn't educated in a sense to like process small sums of money and do that. So you got to imagine like you get something triple, quadruple what we've had in our lifetime and say, here, this is yours. Good luck. We're gonna get the very things that's gonna put us back in back at ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say I don't have no, oh man, I don't have no student loans, but I also then my car done got repoed. I didn't buy no house. I'm renting. I'm about to get put out because I just blew through the money. I've been buying designer clothes, like going out every night. So it's a mindset about it. So I think it's something to learn from the person who's tackling that student loan debt. And it can be a slow process. It can be a long one because, I mean, people are on different financial journeys or whatever. But I've had the opportunity to talk with these people who've paid off some large sums of student loan debt. And, you know, the biggest thing that's very noticeable is where they at emotionally or whatever. Like they really seem to feel good about themselves when you tackle something like that and know you never have to look back at that again. And so I'm in agreement with that or whatever. I think that's a better experience. I think you will feel much better about it compared to just putting it off and letting someone else tackle the responsibility.
Yep. That's the same thing as tied to a millionaire. If you made your millionaire, your million was gifted to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's two different fruits are bear from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely understand that. And you always want the one that you worked for more, because if you have the evidence of I can pay all this back without the value of what I paid for it, and then you can think more financially or be more financially fit. Yeah, you won.
Yeah. I remember man, my stepfather at the time, whatever. I was like, oh man, I want to get a car. I want to get a car. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna help you out or whatever. And he was like, well, how much you got? I say, I don't really have nothing. I got like a couple $100s. He said, well, you can't get no car with that. And he say, man, save your money up. Save your money up. So man, I spent probably like a whole year and a half saving up. I think I saved up probably about 8,000 or something like that or whatever. And I saved up that 8,000. And I said, man, I think I'm ready now. He said, you think you're ready now? I said, all right, let's go to the car lot. So we found something. I think that's when I got a Ford Thunderbird or whatever. And when it came time to pay for it, he had me step to the side and he paid for it. And he said, I just wanted you to learn a lesson and building up your own income to purchase something. I needed you to experience that. But he let me keep mine. And he said, now you got a better understanding of money because of that. And that's one of the things that kind of stuck with me because of that. Because small things like that you experience in life, it shifts your understanding and makes you realize the very things that you didn't know that may seem simplistic now, but you just didn't have a good understanding of it. And so the same thing can be applied to like paying down student loans. It may seem like, man, this is going to take me 2 years to do or whatever. But I promise you get 6 months in, you get a year in, you get a year and a half in. Maybe they do decide to cancel some of it, and by that time you got $2,000 left, and they knock it out. It's a greater feeling knowing that what you did on a consistent basis, just tackling it. So
Yeah, that's for sure. Because the value of your thoughts being shifted is way more than what you spent
definitely,
or what you got paid.
definitely. Since we already kind of on this, so we're gonna stay like in this same realm here. Just an opinion. Do you find a college education beneficial? And I know we
I
have
think we
here, so it's a great topic of discussion here.
yeah, for sure. I think probably on a previous podcast or a previous episode we jabbed at it probably a little bit, and I think I want to say I do feel the same way. I mean, hindsight is 2020. Clark Kent. I would have don't get me wrong, loved the experience. But one thing that doesn't it's always going to translate is like that, like you said, that first-hand experience, like that being in the field. And I feel like one thing is not going to go out of style is them trades, man. Them plumbers and electricians and this and that, the carpentry, this and that. Like houses are being built hour by hour, day by day. The people have to put in wires. Like my cousin, about to go to school for electricity, about to be done in May. It's something about that, that those type of fields that they just don't go out of style. Like no matter how much AI, how much robotic shit we got going on in the world, like that shit is not going nowhere. So in hindsight, I know journeyman electricians and people of that nature, any major trade is making a killing because like anytime locksmith, my grandma couldn't get in her door, a locksmith came. Oh man, here's your power right there. Got that little cushion. Open the door. We probably pulled up. Problem 10 minutes. We probably paid him $100 for 10 minutes. Like so like I said, the experience. I loved it. I loved the. For me, the whole college thing was just networking. Just to be honest with you, it was just a whole networking pool. And I didn't understand that. I came in with an ego, and in hindsight, it's like that was just a big networking pool. You'll never get that amount of people going through the same thing, same age, and a 5 mile radius. You'll never get that again. So
Chris, how much do
love the
you think,
experience, but
um, based on your answer, how
mm.
much of you going to a historical Black college play into your answer?
Uh, Not much. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I loved it. I loved it. I love it more now as I'm, through the. Not saying we hadn't had social injustice before, but now I'm more prideful, as the times got a little shaky here, for a while, and prideful now, and the rise of we starting to. I ain't trying to be cliche with the shit, like we're starting to wake up. We're starting to. Some people starting to realize their power now, so it's more profitable to be say, okay, I did go to PD. But at one point I didn't understand the total magnitude of it. Okay, my aunties went there. Okay, my couple cousins went there. Hey, it was just a school. But for some people, it was a lifestyle. It's like my great grandma went here, my grandma went here, my mom went here. I gotta go. So I wasn't as prideful as, some people I went to school with. So, just treated it like a regular school, but like I said, now like I look at it differently. Yeah.
Okay.
I that's I used to feel the same, and I still feel the same way. Like the college, I don't think it was valuable to go to college. But I had a conversation with somebody at work, and she spanked me in a debate. And she said, Jonathan, she was like, I understand what you're saying. And her debate or her case was, yeah, it's not valuable, but look at how your critical thinking was. Like those people who don't go to college, they can't sit and think, they can't have a debate. Their job, when they get a job, they don't last long. Like they can't talk as well as us. So yeah, in some aspect, we don't get the value. We don't get the value when it comes to dollars. But when it comes to thinking, when it comes to talking, when it comes to dressing,
Mhm.
when it comes to problem solving, we get it in that value. And we don't research, we don't take that in consideration when we say, oh, the value of college has been lost.
I'm in
And I
agreement
was like,
with
you
that,
know what?
Jonathan. And I can argue you can get the value in dollars. It's just you have to take that same skill set and apply it to financial
Exactly.
literacy because that part of it
Right.
is on its own.
Right. And that's where we lacking at. And for me, when I sat down and thought about it, like, how do you turn education into income? That's what I always been thinking. Like, how do you turn education into income? That's my problem. Transferring over the bridge from education and income, turning that education that you learn into dollars. And like, that's where we haven't been taught that.
Mm-hmm.
So the value of college, when we talk about dollars, no, it don't produce. But
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about dropping seeds for you to think, branch off, make friends, some of your best friends you done met at college. If you lucky, you met your wife at college. So if you would trade your friendships or looked at it as, hey, I paid $50,000 to marry my wife because I found her at college, or I met my best friend at college. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you look at it like that, oh, I definitely got what it was
Mm-hmm.
worth. But when you're talking like, damn, trying to make it in society, no, it don't. It looked like it didn't produce.
Mm-hmm.
And so a trade is good when you're talking about value for dollar, value for value.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a it's better. It's more of a trade. It's more of a productive or more lucrative for you to get a trade. But as far as like thinking terms, you might miss out on some things when you don't go to college. So I think that's what college is meant to do, make you think. But they don't tell you all of it. They just give you bits and pieces and tell you, okay, now you link the rest together.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
look at college like from a different perspective, man. Like on one hand, I do feel like it's a great tool for like social grooming and networking. Uh, but on the other hand, and like it opens doors to like many opportunities. So for me, I'm more of the latter of like an entrepreneur. So like having like the benefit of looking at the movie Social Network or the movie Steve Jobs, and like I immediately fell in love. And then like I started looking at like none of my role models actually finished college. And these were all from like prestigious universities like Brown
Mm-hmm.
or, Yale or Stanford. And so I was like, you know, there has to be another way or avenue for me to like consider doing what I wanted to do. Like my goal has always been to be like a multi-billionaire, like in the hundreds and hundreds of billions. And so like, when I went to school, like I necessarily didn't need money because I was already working for HP, and then I was also studying architecture. So for me, it was just like college was a bonus. But at the same time, it also helped me make my decisions because when talking to some of my classmates when we're close to graduating, I was like, hey, what's going on? Like most of us going to master program. How much money are we gonna make out of here? It's like money, we don't make any money. I say, then what are we doing this for? And it's like, well, the goal is to, obtain knowledge and then one day, make six figures. It's like 6 figures. I didn't struggle for 20 years to make 6 figures. I came to be wealthy. And so, I spent more time talking to my professor because he was a business owner who actually never truly had a degree. Like one of the well-known practices with architecture is you have to have that master's degree of certifications, which as a business owner, he ran his business like very fluidly. But as a actual practitioner of the practice, he did not have his degree. May have it now, but so I was always more keen to the entrepreneurial side. So if I had to do it all again, I'd probably still do 2 years. I wouldn't necessarily do the 4 or 5 or even 6. I'll do the 2 years and then still take the entrepreneurial path because I feel it was more intuitive. And then at the same time, you had, those key aspects of learning and grooming how to recruit or network with other individuals. Because that's all college is truly about. It's about social climbing, and then hopefully you get to meet that upper crust or meet someone that's tapped in, and then you get to follow that pursuit of what you truly want to be, which is free. And like Jonathan said, it definitely does help your critical thinking, how you approach emails and how you dress, and how you like interact with society, because you become a little bit more extroverted than introverted. So college has its key aspects in helping grooming us. So
I like it. I
a
like
little
it.
bit of both.
Yeah, I'm split in the middle. I think it's definitely beneficial. I think it can be even more beneficial if we can control how it flows, in a sense. If we can let me see, if we can take the teachers and like if we can choose them out. And what I'm saying is, like, so for instance, I was analyzing myself over like the past months, and I was just like, I've been in the classroom because I'm looking at the amount of books I've been reading, the amount of hours put into YouTube. I'm spending a lot of time doing it, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm not like, oh, I gotta sit in this classroom and do this or whatever. I'm using those same tools, but I can control the tune. Like I can control the things that I'm getting educated about, and it's things that mean something to me. Um, it's kind of tricky because I think because we go to college so early on, 18 years old, we don't have life figured out. And so that's why it's kind of hard to see things beneficial. And then most of us see it more beneficial as we get older. Most of the time we ask each other the same question at 21 or 22, when we're fresh out or whatever. We'll probably have a different, man, that was a waste of my time. But we don't really see the benefit until down the line. I think it's a maturity aspect to it. To fully understand it. Jonathan spoke on a lot of stuff that's associated with like maturity, like understanding the appointing, like grooming, how to talk to people, networking and stuff like that. Those are things that I wasn't speaking about my early 20s, 19, 20 years old. I wasn't intentional about doing those things in college. Even if I was doing it, I wasn't aware of it in a sense. So I'm in between. I think college is beneficial. It can be argued. Chris spoke a lot on trades. We getting educated in some shape or form. Like we're getting information from somewhere. You just have to be aware of it, to be honest with you. So anything can be poisonous, and I guess anything can be beneficial. It's all about how you're using everything that we're kind of receiving. So I don't think college should be exempt from that either. So just like you have good teachers, some teachers you feel like it's good, some bad. So, and life's the same way.
Which goes back to perspective.
Yeah, it's just our perspective. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, we kind of talked about this a little bit. Just skimming over these topics. Do you find it beneficial to work for someone or some company and not get paid?
Depends. It depends. If it's an internship, if it's an internship, that I'm gonna leverage as a barter system and then help catapult me in my life, then sure. But if I'm gonna work for someone and not get paid just to not get paid, fuck no.
Let me give you a scenario. Let me give you a scenario, Mr. Shepherd. And say you're working in your current job right now. I don't know who your favorite fashion designer is, whoever that may be. He offers you a job. You got to work for him for 2 years. You're not gonna get paid. What's your stance on that? What you gonna do? And you gotta
I'm gonna
leave.
take it.
You gotta leave your job, and you gotta be working with him. Why would you take?
The opportunity, the networking opportunity, like I said before previously, the ability to social climb is like saying, if you personally knew the CEO or the director at Gucci, and then you wind up like having talks or meetings with someone else at another job, and it's like, oh, this dude worked at Gucci. He's like at one of the top 4 fashion houses. Like you immediately your status like catapults to like another ascension. Same reason why people who go to Stanford or Yale or Harvard immediately catapult to the top of the job stack, and then you become that one of the top 10%. So yeah, I would take it if it's life changing or life altering. If I got to be an understudy of Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos, and it's like you don't get paid for a year, I'm like, sign me up. I get to pick their brain or see how they think and how they maneuver. That kind of resources is kind of almost invaluable, um, if that's the case.
I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. I think we in a generation where instant gratification means getting the money now. And even in that scenario that I kind of gave to you, Rick, the reason you're truly able to choose is because you see the value in yourself. I remember early on, I was just working jobs because I wanted to make money. I find myself hiding behind the dollar because I don't see the value in what I can bring to the world. And I think that's what happens to us a lot of times, is that we don't see the value in ourselves. So it's easy to just like, I'm gonna just chase the dollar. I'm gonna do anything, which is not the healthiest mindset to have. And I understand to a certain extent people do what they got to do, but I think long-term benefit is making that hard decision and saying like, hey, grandma, I got to come back in the house. I need you to trust me for a year. I need you to trust me for 2 years, but this is my dream and you'll be taken care of. That's not the easiest thing to have to go and do. You know what I mean? But it takes for you to see the value in yourself that outweighs that, like you see down the line, the benefits. I was watching a little clips of Shannon was interviewing, was it Steve Stout? I don't know if y'all seen it, but he talked about where he was worth a few million, and he made the choice to take a deal where he was going to be making 150K a year. And in a few years, that turned into 150 million. And that goes back to that same philosophy of just like seeing that value in yourself first, to know that I know what I'm capable of, but I'm gonna make this sacrifice now. And I wouldn't even call it a sacrifice because like Rick said, it's an amazing opportunity if it presents itself for you to do something like that you will never get back. I think I kind of weigh it the same as like if you had an opportunity like and you're young and 18, like you don't necessarily have to even jump to college or whatever. Like travel the world, go live in Thailand for 6 months, see how that changes your perspective on life. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm totally in agreement with you. I would do the same thing, Rick. Like Warren Buffett could call me up or whatever, I'm gonna drop everything and go. So
Yeah, I'm with you on the like you said, the instant gratification, with as far as like making a sacrifice. And because we do is like we just see the front end of it. It's like, man, I'm gonna be working internship, I ain't gonna be getting paid. But it's like if you get opportunities like, hey, we got a signing bonus for you. You get the money in your account right now. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But versus me telling you, hey, you're not gonna get paid right now. But the knowledge and being in the upper echelons gonna lead you to those opportunities. But you're just not gonna get it right now, but you'll get it a little later. It's like, all right. It is such a drag to you when just like I said, just for me personally, as I get older, like just understanding the process and fall in love with the process. Like, okay, don't know technically. I know I'm going to be steadfast with it, knowledgeable with it, but don't know necessarily how everything in the middle is going to happen. But I know the end goal is this, and no
Yeah.
matter what,
And
you
then for
know,
me, like
yeah,
it's not a hard decision for me. Like it's
yeah,
okay. I done been broke before. I've been broke
yeah,
around other broke people. I ain't never been broke surrounded by a billionaire for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like so like
right,
you can't tell me it's the same. Like
right, right. What they say? What they say? Well, I've never had it yet, not yet. It was speaking in existence, but at this point, but but we'll have it. What they say, your first million is the hardest million to get. Because what you say, once you get that first million, I mean, yeah, I know how to get it back again. So
Yep.
knowledgeable.
Yep. Uh, uh, I meant to say this earlier. I just gotta bless you, Avery, and say thank you for doing what you're doing, for because I don't know how you getting us on here is gonna play out, but I guarantee you the value of it will show as you know as we progress down in life. So I remember when me and you used to sit at work on the forklift and just talk about just intellectual things.
same thing we doing now, right?
That exactly. But the value, I still remember those. Like I still, when I be talking to people, I say, me and my friend was talking about way long ago, like when I was 28, 27, like those are like seeds. Like it may take a while to grow, but those are seeds being planted. So when you talk about working for somebody and not getting paid, that's nothing. Like getting paid, like you looking at money, you looking at the wrong dividend, you looking at the wrong fruit. Getting paid is nothing. Like you got to look at the value of it. Like you can sit, if I had a chance to sit with anybody, if there was somebody who I wanted to sit next to and learn, you could not pay me for a lifetime because the value of
Mm,
it. To tie this into my life right now, it's a dude who I work with. When I first got there, I was like, dang, I knew how to do the job, but sitting next to, he's very thorough.
Mhm.
Like very, very thorough. We work in the medical field. You have to be thorough. You can't tell, and I work in the OR. You can't tell them no, we don't have it.
Mhm.
It has to be a for sure no before they tell this person who flew thousands of miles to get to Houston, Texas to have a surgery. And they canceled, they can't, they called in to work and
Mhm.
they put in vacation time. It has to be a very like we can't get this product. So it has to be a hard note. So you just can't be like, oh, I messed up. I didn't really check everything. I couldn't get this product. Tell a doctor you have to cancel the surgery. No, they coming for you and they're
Mhm.
gonna walk you out the door.
Mhm.
So, but to be around him for about a year or two and to get his thoroughness, now that trickles over into my lifestyle. I'm very thorough about how I do everything. You get very detailed in the professions that you pick,
Mhm.
and you pick up little nuances of who those people you be around.
Mhm.
So if you make a million, Avery, and you keep coming back to this podcast, and you keep coming home, and you keep talking to us,
Yeah.
then Chris make a million. We all gonna start making millions because you got the knowledge. You got the little pieces that we didn't get, and you come back and we still talking. Like everybody eventually gonna start making a million. Like, so what's the value in that? You can't put a value on that. You can't pay for that.
Yeah.
well, you ain't gonna lie. You almost made me throw this phone. I ain't gonna say nothing like to you. I almost. I go. You think I'm bull? You think I'm bullshitting? Nigga? Listen, you listen. Y'all want to see this phone hit the wall? Did he fall? I damn near cried.
No,
when
just
you
No,
know,
no,
no, be
no,
serious.
no. He said,
I'm
No,
serious. I'm serious. I'm serious.
he said a
I'm
whole lot.
serious.
Because I mean, the
I'm serious.
value when I think back, and me and Jonathan worked a lot of hours at Mitsubishi Caliper. We probably made a lot of money, right? But I think the biggest thing that I always remember are those conversations. The biggest things I remember is like going on our personal development journey. Some of the
that's
biggest
where,
um,
that's where it's at.
we went and saw, like, before Eric Thomas got big, we went and saw him in an airplane hangar.
Mm.
Um, uh, it was just like, those are the things I remember. Like, I don't remember the day-to-day of the actual job, to be honest with you. Like, and that's the power in it or whatever. Like, I think it's God, like, to be honest with you or whatever. Like, everything else is just kind of like a blur.
Mm.
Moment. When I was talking to one of my friends that works in the hospital with me as well. He always messes with me. Well, I say messes with me, but he speaks a lot of truth. Um, he tells me I need to stop being afraid to unlock my vision. Cause
Mm.
he asks me stuff like, how far do you see this going? Like, he'll be speaking on as far as a podcast, and he say people actually listen to you, like, but you just gotta unleash it. Like, you gotta stop setting your vision short. Cause I always tell him, as long as I touch one person, but he was just like, that might not be what God, you trying to make plans for God or whatever, that might not be his plan. He might need you to touch thousands. But you got to take that. It's power in the tongue. Like, you got to take that off and, like, just unleash. And so that's been one of the things that's on a priority goal of me as far as growing, is speaking it bigger. Stop putting it in this small shell of things. You know what I mean? Like, because God may want me to do something much bigger. So, and we just flow and see where it goes.
Yeah, letting the flower grow on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll never see a gardener digging back up the seed. Talk, did he grow yet?
Yeah. And I think, like, for us, man, like, it's pretty powerful what we have the ability to do, because we all can find similarities and differences in our walks in life, and we all can pour from these different pots. We're each of us as individuals relate to somebody, you know what I mean? So, and I mean, it's not a really lot of these conversations happening because this is just not trendy, right? You know what I mean? Like, but it's people looking for it, and some people don't even know they're looking for it. I didn't know I was looking for it. You know what I mean? It found me. I knew I wanted something better. I didn't know what it looked like though, and until it presented itself. So going into our last topic, what are some things that you think should be added to K through 12 education? And what are some things you think should be taught?
Oh, for shit show. Taxes. Um, Now, as far as learning all the loopholes and all the other shit, I mean, you know, for some people it's quiet as kept. Really investing in like CDs, RA funds, all the other stuff, that you presented in the beginning. All that stuff is like super knowledgeable, because you putting your stuff in the savings, you getting 0.0000001% every year is not doing a damn thing. I'll be like, bro, I put 10,000, and all I got is $10,009 per month. Oh,
Financial literacy is a big thing.
man.
People don't understand the power in compound interest. Like, for instance, like, I opened my son a stock account. I think he has $4,008 year to date. I opened it probably like a month after he was born or whatever. But the inevitable part of it, it's gonna be funny to watch, is that compound interest is gonna be in his favor. So eventually his account is gonna surpass mine. because he started earlier. And it's just like small things like that. So I'm in agreement with you. Like financial literacy is something that should be tackled. Honestly, it should start in K. I don't think like it's something you can hide from kids. Like it's just the basic understanding of money, and how it works. Like it doesn't go away. So
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think financial literacy is like something that needs to be taught. Like it's interesting, like my extended family, they literally have financial literacy classes for their children, where they have a course every year for them.
wow.
And they just basically give them the understanding of money. And their kids are literally like, one is like 4 years old and the other one's like 7. So it's like, but teaching them while they're young, so they have the opportunity to make the choices in their career path, and also like the foundation of their life. Might not need to go to school because, you can be an entrepreneur because you understand the avenues and put a dollar amount in value to what you actually want to do in life versus, I got to get out these trenches, man. I got to make this money, man.
Exactly. And that's,
Mm.
I got to
yeah,
pay
I'm
my
with you, Rick. That's the
man.
power of financial literacy though. And that's what I'm saying. That's what like it's interesting because like I was saying, like we was talking about previously, like we trying to go to college to even a playing field as far as financially for the majority of us. You know what I mean? Like, but what if you're not even a playing field, like you creating a playing field because you already like got the literacy and you've been doing this since you were yay high. That changes the dynamic of your family legacy. Like, and this ain't like we sitting here talking about it, and the process seems like something so simple, yet very few of us are doing it. And so that's why I have to applaud your people, Ricky, because that's amazing. Like, I love that.
No, for real.
Yeah, that's good. That is good. Let me come at it from this point. I hear everybody about the money, and I agree with it, but I guess I want to put the money to the side, like this, because it's not real. So let's put the money to the side. So if I had to pick something, because when I was in school coming up in the 90s, they did teach us like how to open a bank account, how to save. Like every week they would have this bank come to school, and I was in probably pre-K, or no, I was in elementary. And they had this bank come to the school, and you would physically put your little change and give it to them, and they'd be like, okay, you saved this amount of money. So
Damn.
they did have that in school, but this was in the 90s though. So they did have it though. But I want to step away from that. If I had to do something, my most memorable class that I took that I really enjoyed was home economics.
Mm.
Mm.
So like just like if you take the money away,
Mm-hmm.
because money's not everything, and once you get it, it's like, okay, what you do with it. I
Because
get it,
Rick,
important, but we're talking about the quality of life. I want something that's going to give me quality in my life.
they say money only
So
make you more of what you already are.
exactly,
Come on.
exactly. So let's talk about the quality of life then. I think if you knew how to cook, I can get you to come back to the house. That's why you always going to your grandmother's house, because she can
Mm.
cook. So
Uh,
going to enhance your quality of life. I've been thinking about doing this for my daughters, like putting her through etiquette school.
mm,
I only heard this come across the airways one time. This
mm.
lady was like, "Yeah, I got a etiquette school. It costs 15,000. But what would that 15,000 do to my daughter's head? It could get you into great situations. Not talking about money, but raise your quality of life though.
Mm,
You could you could teach your kids how to talk. You
mm,
could teach your kids how to dress. You
mm,
could teach your kids certain things that you don't get in school,
mm.
like eating with the right perfect posture,
Mm. Got your
color
shoulders all
coordinating.
rounded. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm, mm.
exactly. That's why when you see a woman with her like those cheerleaders, uh, believe it or not, yeah, they might be prissy in school, but as you see them grow throughout life, they still got posture.
Yep.
They still walk
Mm.
with their still have a self-esteem. How many of them do you see depressed in a clinic going through therapy? Very few.
Yeah.
Socially adjusted, like I can talk to anybody, I can have a conversation with anybody. So those are the things that I'm more in tune with now that I get older. Yeah, money is important, but if you got the money and you can't like use it appropriately, it doesn't, if it don't raise your quality of life, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you can't cook and you can't bring your kids to the table. If I can cook my ass off and get my kids to come to the table 3 times a day just because I can cook good, what are the conversations that are gonna come around sitting at that table?
There you go. There you go. And
And
Jonathan,
get y'all to come
I don't
through
care how
because
if you go ask, if you take your kids, right, and say, hey, I'm gonna have you spend a day at my house, I'm gonna cook a good meal for you, we're gonna have fun, and I'm gonna send you to Uncle Avery's house, and Uncle Avery just gonna have you talk about stocks all day. You gonna ask them 10 years from now, what was the most memorable moment? It's gonna be that food they had with Jonathan.
exactly. That's where I'm trying to get to. That's where I'm trying to get to. Like I remember when I first started hanging out with y'all, y'all always talked about barbecuing at Avery's house. Remember when y'all came over and we had the food and we got drunk and got, that's what, this not about no bread. Y'all don't even, we was broke. This ain't about no bread. So I get that it's important, but I also think the quality of your life is important. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that's, for me, that's why I try to raise the value of the prime example. I stay in the Heights now. Every time I look out the window, I always see everybody walking. They walking their dog, but they not usually walking alone. They walking with a partner or they got their kids. It's it's a it's a different environment when you look out the window and you see people walking versus when you see people in the hood. They it's just not the same. Like they don't, the value on family is not the same. It's not equal. We are a hustle culture in America. That's why when people come from other countries, they're like, yeah, y'all got the game messed up. Y'all making money, but you just making money from you. I'm trying to put my whole family on. I want all the money that I got. They can have it. I don't care if they can have all my money. I just want my wife and my kids to be happy. That's it. That's what they hustle for. We just hustling trying to get rich to say, oh, I got a big house and not invite anybody over.
I know, just
Not let anybody jump in the Benz with us. We don't know, but want nobody sitting in the Benz with us. We just want to have one.
Shaq talked about that. He spoke out to one of the other athletes and he said, don't end up like me. All this big house, all this money, and ain't nobody in
Empty
here.
house.
And you think about Shaq's personality and all he's accomplished or whatever to get to that point and have to make a statement like that. That tells you how unimportant money is at that stage. You know what I mean? Like, so it's true.
Like I would like to see.
You want to be lonely?
No. I said I would like to see like a quarter of Shaquille's money. I would like to see how it makes me feel. and then I'll report back. I am lonely as hell.
Hey,
I'm lonely as hell.
hey, Chris, sometimes the devil, he'll take the one thing that you think that you really, really need and hold it over you and keep thinking you it's unattainable and keep you chasing it and you ignoring all the great things you already got right in front of you.
I'm with you. I am with you. But I feel I just give me a little sample, like you be in Sam's and you a little
Give
sample
me
of
a
the situation
slice.
as well.
Give me a slice.
I just a sample. That's it. That's all I asked. I didn't ask to be filthy. I didn't ask to be Scrooge McDuck. I just said just a little little bite. That's all.
So,
That's it.
so for me, I think back to my most memorable teacher that had the biggest impact on me. It would be my fourth grade teacher, Mr. Smith. Shout out to Mr. Smith. I don't even know his first name because they ain't even let you call you by your first name during this time. That was nothing but trouble. But shout out to Mr. Smith if he ever see this. He taught me how to tie a tie. And that stuck with me for the entirety of my life to this day. I even had to tie some of my uncle's ties. And these were adult men in their 40s and 50s. And there's power in it. And it wasn't a masculine thing or anything like that. Men and women that entered that classroom learned how to tie a tie. And at the time I didn't understand. I was just like, why you got women in here tying ties or whatever? But I understand it more now because they may not personally want to wear ties later on in their life. But you know what happens? They may raise a son and they'll teach him how to tie a tie. Because unfortunately, it's more single mothers raising boys than it is fathers. So I don't know if that was intentional, what he was doing, but he made a great impact where he was at. Teachers, we can argue all day about them being underpaid, but that's a man who was retired military who brought way more value and probably at the time wasn't getting paid what he should have been getting paid just from the amount of value he brought to the students. I think manners is a big thing. And it's almost like a lost art. Politeness, telling people thank you, yes sir and no ma'am, having respect for elderly. It's more common now to see a woman flat tire on the side of the road and thousands of cars can pass all day and no one to stop and help her out. And I'm guilty of it. So I'm just speaking, being vulnerable for myself. But I know if that was my mother or my grandmother, I would want somebody to pull over and help her. And so I think that's one of the things, just stepping away from financial stuff, as Jonathan did. So like, it's just like manners and respect, like the simple things. I know like these are things that back in the day are just like, well, they should be taught in the home. Well, the past has shown us that a lot of this stuff is not being taught in the home, and it's not to blame parents or anything, but like at some point we gotta even that playing field. And if it needs to be introduced into the school, then it needs to be introduced into the school. But it's something that carry you a long way because it ties into everything. Like you can't network if you unable to have a conversation and be friendly with someone. I remember it was a time where it wasn't even cool to be friendly. Bro, why you over there talking to him? Let's stop being friendly. No, that's a good thing. Like that's the person that's gonna be well off in life. Like the person that's going out there and socializing with everybody. So like it's just like, and it was just like and just like thinking back on these things now, like it's just like mind blowing the amount of things we feed into young people, the things that was fed to us. So I think definitely manners, politeness, showing respect, shaking someone's hand and looking them in the eyes. You walking down the street, I see so many young men nowadays, and it's just like, I don't know, because like I make it more intentional now for me to like put my phone down and actually like look at what's going on in the world. So I like watch
be present.
Yeah, and I be watching men like they walk and head be down and shoulders rounded over, and it's just like it's just different now. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just different now. And it's not to blame anybody, but it's just different compared to what it used to be. When I think about men that was influential in my life, like my grandfather and stuff like that, like it's just quite different. So I think getting back to the basics of like understanding, like looking at like the manners and showing respect is something that needs to be introduced into a school system. I know they try to do it like sparingly, but like I think it really needs to be a class because it'll tie into everything. everything.
Yeah.
If you need help, you got to know how to ask for help. Like it ties into everything. So I think that'll be the big one for me. Just having manners. Like you wouldn't even believe sometimes, like even coming in some of them kids coming into physical therapy, some of the stuff they be saying, and I just be well, like, bro. Like, young man, where your mama at? And then now it's like a society, like we in a society now, like you can't like correct someone else's kid. Like, even if it's to their benefit or whatever, like, and you just have to kind of like manage it, especially in a professional environment anyways.
I mean, everything's done for shock value now, so I just stay out the way of the circus, bro. To be honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even participate.
Yeah, I just back to that etiquette thing. I know it's on topic, but it's off topic. I went to the gas station
Mm-hmm.
and the lady was pumping her gas,
Mm-hmm.
and the dude just leaned back all the way in the seat, just watching his phone. I was so pissed off. I was like, "You got a well-abled man, and you pumping the gas." I just couldn't. That just didn't sit well with me. And maybe and they were older. They had to be at least
Mm-hmm.
35.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's not for everybody. I get that. That's cool. You don't want to pump the gas for your guy. That's cool. But goddamn,
But we
like
got,
every
but
that's the
it's
basic.
the basic, I'll give you another example of my experience. So like for me, um, if me and a young lady is walking, I don't care if you my friend, mother, stranger, I'm gonna open that door for you if we coming up on the door.
Mhm.
And I've always done that, and so I do it for my coworkers all the time. And so my coworker, she's Philippine, and we were both leaving work at the same time. And she went to go grab the door, and she pulled it back and stood there, and she knew it was wrong. So she paused, and then she looked at me, and then she started laughing because I paused, and I'm looking at her, and I ain't even had to say nothing. And she was like, "Oh, you so crazy," or whatever. And she went on and walked through the door while I held it or whatever. Like, but like I don't do that. Like I don't move like that or whatever. Like I don't know, like maybe it's traditional or something like that or whatever. But like, it's just those things I just feel like I am supposed to be doing. Those are the things that I'm gonna teach to my son. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just, I don't know. Some stuff with a society I just can't rock with. You know what I mean? Like it's just certain stuff I'm gonna
Not for
continue.
real.
You know.
Yeah. Like another important lesson I was taught. Here's some game if y'all need some game. Uh, when I was messing with this one lady, she was like, always bring a gift to that person's parents. If y'all are like serious, when you meet her parents, bring a gift. Come bearing gifts.
Mm.
Because that breaks the ice. It's like, oh, he thought about me enough to actually sit back and take the time to buy me a gift. I was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take a gift when you meet these people's parents. Like they gonna keep you in good graces. You'll never know how much that'll unlock the door or unlock the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody not doing it. That's gonna separate you. But those are things you can't put a value on. Like that's when that has nothing to do with money. Business relationship. You're going to meet somebody for the first time. Bring them something.
Yeah. Be on
They
time.
always gonna remember. And it's
Punctuality that needs to be taught.
etiquette. All of it's etiquette.
All of it, like just.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm feeling guilty here.
It's okay. It's
I'm
thousands and thousands of other people too. You know what I mean? Like it is. Like it's just
yeah.
if you
I may not be punctual, but the quality I bring. Okay.
Yeah. But those are the things people look at when they want to do business. When they talking about, okay, well, yeah, he may have a lot of money, but he have no etiquette. Look how he treat his woman. Look how he treat his kids. He ain't
Mm.
not dressed well. He don't love himself like he's supposed to. Like when the real people who got money, when you've been making it for a while, you be like, okay, I need to look at other things that's gonna help me do business with these people. Because with the way I used to go about making business connections back then didn't work for me. So what am I looking for now?
Mm. They say how you do
Having
anything is how you do everything.
Yeah, it's like having a bunch of money is like a woman with a big butt and a smile. Okay, that's cool, but what is her personality like? That's what you're trying to get to. That's where you need the help of the Holy Ghost or in your spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
What can your eyes see that they can't see?
I don't know, but when you, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when you so focused on building yourself up, you don't even have to look for the woman.
Right.
The woman's just gonna fall in your tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Like Jerry Rice.
listen, I move with a sentiment that my boy Ricky taught me one day. We were out eating at a restaurant, and him and a young lady had an exchange of words. And you know what he told her? And this will stick with me. And I'll move with that same energy since then or whatever. He said, I'm perfect. Y'all can't even process that, huh? Because y'all ain't never told nobody that. Like,
Listen,
huh?
I was
Like,
oh, wow.
and I'm so serious. Like
Hold on.
that I has stuck with me because it's just like, hold on. I ain't never even looked in the mirror and told my own self I'm perfect. Like this, like I'm telling you, that changed my whole energy about how I need to move. Like I'm so serious or whatever. And like Ricky's always moved like that or whatever. But that's how you
Yep.
should be moving, like as a man. You know what I mean? Like that's just
Yeah.
saying I'm building up me. Like nothing you saying that don't even really matter because I don't even I'm blessing you with the presence. Like I don't even have to be here. And
Hey,
so
hey, 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 bro, that's probably arguably the greatest
yeah, it
positive
is.
affirmation
It's the
I've ever
greatest
heard
thing.
in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah, real.
It's like it's not even close.
Listen, if she was smart, she should have proposed to him that night.
I like the way you think, babe. Shouts
Okay.
out to Ricky.
No, for real. Listen, I
She
mean
gonna
that
she gonna
was the
watch
greatest information I
she
heard in my
gonna
life.
watch this podcast one day. Gonna be like it's gonna be going viral, and she gonna be like, "Oh, that's me they talking about." And cause she gonna be comments looking for Rick.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Coffee and Cigar Talk, and we out.